Welcome to Source Not Found, podcast about the worst versions of your favorite things. Every other week, we take an IP, franchise, or fandom and examine it solely through its sequels, spin-offs, and side projects, basically anything but the source material. My name is Bill Woodall, and when I fly casual.
And I'm Brandon June, and I'm just over here living in an eternal Billy D. Williams. Yeah!
Man, he is so fucking charming.
Mm-hmm.
It's distracting, almost.
We agree on that. Now, I do need to know, do you love a good Lando yeehaw, or do you prefer a Han?
I prefer a Han one-liner and a Lando yeehaw.
Okay. Yeah, I think we agree on that.
Okay, cool. Welcome to, I don't know, The Force Not Found?
Oh, that's good.
Thank you. Yeah, that's just off the
That's
dome.
good. I like that.
It's May, so we're doing Star Wars.
Dun, 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 dun. We just have the episode 47. This is 47. Episode 47. They'll get there eventually, Disney.
Yeah, I mean, somehow Mark Hamill's still going to be involved. But we decided to take the most controversial of the original trilogy and kind of play with it a little bit. Return of the Jedi, episode 6.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we are well aware that this movie has been talked about before. This movie was released May 25th, 1983, which means that I was nary a twinkle in my dad's penis. I was 3 years prior to me being born.
Yeah, I was negative alive as well.
Yeah. We know that this movie's been talked about a lot before, but we wanted to kind of jump at it from a different direction. I think this is the first time you and I have both watched the remaster, and maybe the first time we've watched it as adults.
For me, so I had never even seen like they re-released the original trilogy in theaters. I want to say like 1997. Do you remember this?
So my understanding was that the remasters and the re-releases were done, like late 90s, early aughts.
Well, there was a theatrical re-release in, I think, 97, where they updated some things and added some new scenes. And then I think there was another, like they put in more shit later on. Because like Hayden Christensen is in the end of Jedi, right? That's like much later. So I'm not really clear. But I guess just all that to say, like, the reason I don't really know is because I never watched these versions. Like, the versions I had, and you probably can visualize this, it's like that 1995 release of the trilogy box set where it's like the close-up of the Darth Vader helmet, the Stormtrooper, and then Yoda's face on Jedi, like the 3 films.
I had that set too.
I think everyone did. Yeah, it starts with like the Leonard Maltin interview with George Lucas.
Yeah.
Before the film.
Yeah.
So that's like the only way I ever experienced the movies, really. And I never saw them when they got re-released in theaters. And then I want to say it was like the last time they released a DVD edition of the original trilogy that still had the original theatrical releases on it. Like subsequent releases, I don't even think you can watch the originals anymore.
I
might
know.
be wrong about that.
I don't know where you can. You'd have to find like special versions or something, probably.
So like I started watching A New Hope at some point, and they had like fucking stormtrooper antics like falling off. They were riding some shit in the background. It was like, what is this slapstick bullshit? And it looked so aesthetically inconsistent, because it is. It just like was so immersion breaking for me. I was like, I can't do this. I immediately stopped the film and I watched they like hide it in the menu. Like they didn't want you to watch it. Like they put it on there begrudgingly. But like that's the only way I ever watched the films like after that on those DVD versions I had. So I had not seen these versions. And it wasn't until my roommate in college, like since I had these on DVD, I came home from class one day and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm watching through your Star Wars movies finally." He had never seen the Star Wars trilogy. And so I was like, okay, I'll sit down and watch this with you. He was on Jedi. And, I might have been under the influence of something. Let's just leave it at that. But I come back in the room and it's in Jabba's palace. And it's the scene. It was originally Lopty Neck in the original, the musical number. And it's now Jedi Rocks. I did not know. I'd never seen this. And like coming into the room and sitting down and seeing that, again, not in a sober state of mind, I'm like,
it was distracting. Like it
was
upset.
I felt like I fell through a wormhole. Like, what am I watching? What the fuck is this? It blew my mind. I turned to him and was like, I don't know. What is this? He's like, this is your DVD. It's like, I've never seen this. What are you watching?
And every other scene, it pans over to Boba Fett, just like watching. Like, guys, we need more screen time on everyone's favorite bounty hunter. Give him the camera and let the man cook. And it's like, he doesn't say anything. At one point, he nods. And that's fucking it. Like, it's wild, some of the choice. But I do have to pause us because I have normal Bo movie facts about this one.
And I didn't mean to get to Jedi Rocks. You don't just jump into Jedi Rocks. You can't.
No.
You can't.
You can't just jump right into Max Rebo getting absolutely housed by a long-mouthed green woman.
The less we remember and say about it. Hey, real quick, do you know the name of his band?
I mean, I know the type of music they play, but I thought it was just like the Max Rebo band.
Okay, well, I guess I just meant the genre then, what they would call themselves.
Oh yeah, they're a jizz band.
The Jizz Whalers.
Oh yeah,
Jizz Whalers.
Jizz Whalers. Because when you jizz, you wail.
It's the only way I know how to do it. Why do we get hung up on stupid stuff? Star Wars is fucking stupid.
It's wonderful, 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 and stupid.
I love it, but goddamn it's stupid. I guess I didn't mean to get here already. I just needed to say, like, this is my first time seeing this version of the film. Other than like I couldn't watch anymore after that. I was like, I'm gonna leave you to it, and I left the room. So I had never watched the full version of this version of Jedi with like Jedi Rocks and all the other additional scenes.
There was okay. I'm trying to decide. Like, do I want to say I think there's really only one other egregious thing that fucked me off, but I want to get to that after I share our normal shit.
Yeah.
This movie, the OG, was released May 25th, 1983. The budget, $32 million, $32.5 million estimated. The worldwide gross, $482 million. This was a fucking slam dunk. The fact that it took them like 20 years to release the prequel boggles my mind with how much money this movie made.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean, they tried to do other stuff in between there, but it was all like none of it super canon, and it was all kind of garbage. I went ahead and looked up the inflation rate because I was curious. Because $32.5 million doesn't seem like a lot of money now.
Yeah, no.
It would have been $104 million, which still isn't crazy. Like,
we're still not in Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within territory.
No, and I think Avengers Endgame was like $350 million to make that movie. Like, and it's gross with inflation, $1.59 billion.
Damn.
This movie, like, shit. Holy moly, it made money.
How could it not? I mean, coming off of Empire, just you've got the conclusion to the trilogy.
Like it only took them 1 year to make this movie too. Like they filmed it in 1 year. Like they were ready to go. Opening weekend, it was number 1, followed by Blue Thunder. Don't know that movie. Flashdance. I know that movie. This is my favorite one on the list. Space Hunter, Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. And then...
I'm sorry, one more time?
Space Hunter, Adventures in the Forbidden Zone.
Nope, still don't know it.
Nope. And Breathless,
but I'm going to check it out.
Was number 5. Yeah, I'm really curious about this Space Hunter movie. So that's what we're looking at number-wise. This movie was made for quite a bit of money at the time and made literally $1.5 billion. Crazy stuff. And honestly, like, it still hits, man. Like, despite the fact that there is some wild choices that George Lucas makes with CGI additions to the 2004 remake and stuff, this movie still hits hard.
I guess our conversation today will be like discussing the original movie and then also on top of it, like the alterations.
Yeah.
Like, those are kind of two separate conversations. Unfortunately, like if you watch it these days, you got to deal with it. It's one conversation. Like you got to deal with all that shit. It's in there. It's not going anywhere. And also so it was interesting for me to watch this because when we were getting ready for this episode, part of me was like, I haven't watched this in like a decade or more. I think the last time I watched the original trilogy was getting ready for The Force Awakens. I think I went through all the films in anticipation of episode 7.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I have never, maybe ever, watched just Jedi. Like we joked at some point on an earlier episode about just jumping into the Two Towers.
Yeah,
this is my favorite one. We're just gonna watch Two Towers and just like leave it at that. Like I've never just sat down to watch Return of the Jedi and just called it a night. You know, it's always been like the capstone to going through the trilogy. So it was interesting. It gave me a new kind of perspective on it to just watch it as a film, like just as a one-off, and think like how well it functions as a movie just on its own.
And how did it function on its own?
Oh, I had a great time. I mean, so we both like this movie.
Yeah, very much.
It happens sometimes, folks. It does. So I have some reviews today, as I like to do when we cover movies. I only got contrarian reviews. I thought that might be a fun.
I love that
way to switch it up.
I'm gonna.
I wouldn't. Oh, go ahead.
I do want to go ahead and say now. I don't have a trivia corner for this movie. Normally, I
think
would.
We just did it. Jazz is called Jizz.
Yeah,
that's the only trivia.
Jazz is Jizz.
After that one, just
the only trivia piece that I found very, very interesting that I didn't think everyone would know already, or like would not be surprising to people. All of the sounds the Rancor makes in Jabba's palace was made by a Dachshund, little wiener dog.
Ooh. I didn't know that. That's fun. That's good.
I enjoyed that. Was a little tidbit that I was like, oh shit, that's really cute. That makes me really happy.
Oh. Who's a good Foley?
Who's a good Foley? You're a good Foley dog.
All right, so today I think our role is Defenders of the Jedi. Although we're going to bitch about some stuff.
Oh, you're damn right. I got a big one.
In that spirit, I thought, what if I front-loaded a contrarian review that kind of mostly serves as a synopsis?
Okay, I love this.
Some reviewers like to do that. I feel like everyone knows the events of this movie, but maybe it's been a while. Maybe, like me, you haven't watched it in a decade or more, and it might be good to have a quick refresher.
I love this. This is great.
So here's how Negative Review Bot in 2017, May 16th, 2017, this is how they chose to recount the events of Return of the Jedi.
Just question. You said his name is Negative Review Bot?
That is correct.
So could this actually be a negative review bought.
I wondered about that, but it seems... you be the judge.
Okay,
The
cool.
end that sends you reeling. Spoilers. After 2 forced film viewings, I decided in for a penny, in for a pounding. Painful. After learning of his heritage and escaping capture of the Empire, our hero decides that hiding and laying low is just not the right thing to do. So he decides that he should, like his father, kill a big fat slug. Instead of going to the home and garden section of his local store and purchasing rock salt, our hero decides that mounting a small war is what laying low looks like. After wisely giving advanced warning to his adversary, our hero fires the first shot, gifting him 2 droids. As the operation moves forward, Jabba decides that owing to the 1980s looming recession, that staff cutbacks are needed. The first to go, the green exotic dancer whose salary is way too much, especially with a half-naked slave chained at your feet. The Ranker found this decision, shall we say, tasty. Jabba, after interviewing our hero, decides to expedite him with a side of bacon to the prior-mentioned Rancor. Jabba's hopes are crushed, as is the Rancor. Too much iron in the diet, maybe? That's pretty good.
That's actually
Kinda like that.
not a bad joke. But the rest are garbage so far.
After that incident, both the farm boy and the freezer blind Han are treated to Jabba's Rancor. It is decided a feast will be held in their honor. They, along with the audience, will be fed lame dialogue and unending cackles from a wingless bird. After the death of Jabba by choking by our slave girl, I guess.
Also,
unfortunately,
his name is Salacious Crumb, all right? His name is Salacious Crumb. Get it fucking right. He's not a wingless bird. His name is Salacious Crumb.
You can't fault someone for not wanting to type out
Salacious Crumb.
Salacious Crumb in succession, you know?
Yeah,
that's Jizz Whalen territory.
That's fair.
After the death of Jabba by choking, our slave girl unfortunately misses the chicken. Oh no, I was misreading that. Okay. This is great. Fully, our final stop on the planet not chosen for David Lynch's Dune. I should have I should have just read this a little bit more thoroughly. Wait, this is great. Fully. This is great. Fully. Our final stop on the planet not chosen for David Lynch's Dune. We really need punctuation here, buddy. Our hero returns to the rainy jungle world that even Lieutenant Dan and Forrest Gump knew better than to explore to find a dying puppet. The puppet apologizes for lying to him, claiming it was all in the script, and that someone named Qui-Gon Jinn made him do it. After the barbecue, our hero returns to the fleet to discover that the rebellion was dumber than he ever suspected. The rebellion has placed all its hopes on a massive coordinated attack on the Empire's new floating tangerine, but before its slices congeal, Han Solo, it has been decided, will be the mastermind of the key assault, owing to his deft ability to be frequently captured by the Empire. Okay, there's a couple fun lines in this one. I'm enjoying this.
That wasn't bad.
You're not wrong.
That wasn't bad.
However, things take a bizarre turn as our heroes attempt to lower the shield that protects the giant round Pardon Our Dust station above the forest moon of Endor. That's right, forest moon. Not inhabited moon. There are a lot of trees there, and don't you forget that. And teddy bears. Don't forget the teddy bears. Such a wasted marketing opportunity. What were the makers of Teddy Rocks been thinking? Anyway, after C-3PO does his best postmodern attempt at the robot stalker that followed Will Robinson around, only with a more enhanced vocabulary and a better catalog of sound effects than the previous 2 films, afterwards it is decided that the Empire has to go. Which is advantageous as the Millennium Falcon and a zillion other rebel ships have just shown up and determined that they were expected all along. Our hero, in the meantime, is engaged in a rather unhealthy encounter session with his abusive father figure. All the time refereed by an aging prune that bears a striking resemblance to Grand Nagus. They've misspelled this. That's not me. But also, it's not correct. He's a little
I'm going to be
lacking in the lobe department.
I'm going to be completely honest with you right now. I am so excited to see how this gets edited.
The Empire responds to the show force in kind. Han and the Teddy Bear clan continue to plan their sabotage of the shield generator. As usual, and right on cue, Han is again captured by the Empire. The space fighting continues above as the rebel fighters attempt to shoo a massive amount of TIE fighters away from their fleet by bringing the fight to the fleet itself. After successfully stonewalling it in opposition on the forest moon of Endor, the shield falls. Inside, our hero has unhanded his mechanical father. He rejects the prune's offer of rotting in evil solidarity whilst ruling the galaxy. The response is, well, shocking. Outside, Wedge and Lando enter the Death Star interior in a sort of Frogger-style light cycle race to the station's power core. Yes, finally at last, the Emperor falls from his throne, still waiting for that thud. Oh, If only there was a thud. Those of us in 2025, we know better. We know better.
I would also like to just.
Vader faces this.
I just want to say he says he unhands his father. Is that what you said? He said.
Yes.
No.
Unhanded his mechanical father.
For the love of God, he disarmed him. Like, for the love of Christ, use the better joke.
We used all of our comedic potential on. I think actually there were a couple of good lines.
Han being the damsel is a pretty good joke. Like that's not bad.
Yeah. Vader faces his son, all's forgiven, the Death Star explodes, the teddy bears break out their beer. Darth Vader is slow roasted to a fine finish. Everyone lives happily ever after, except the Imperial cleaning crews that are still out there reclaiming usable metals today. On a side note, I found the extra behind-the-scene featurette of Hayden Christensen and Sebastian Shaw throwing it down WWE hardcore style for the little noticed or little cared about non-speaking role of the ghost of Anakin Skywalker enjoyable. Really impressive given Christensen pulled off the upset at all of the age of 3? Long drawn out and wholly predictable. I thought the droids were the worst. I was so wrong. Admiral Akbar? Really? Okay, calamari do not look like that. The garbage-eating Pakmara from Babylon 5, I might have mispronounced that, I don't know Babylon 5, were much better looking in that sense. Kudos art department. At least the movies are over. Unless the first 3 films are made. Wait. No!
Huh. It's a decent enough synopsis. Like he it's fine.
That's the movie.
That's the movie. So as a kid, Jedi was my favorite. Jedi was my favorite.
I think that might be
all
the
3
case with me too.
Like,
I think
Luke is not. He doesn't whine like he does in A New Hope. Like, he has taken on the mantle of a Jedi. Han is Han. And Leia is sassy. Like, everyone is in their correct role in my mind. It's always felt, this movie has always really felt good to me as an end point for the original trilogy. I do want to say, with some of the remake stuff, hey George, why you gotta fuck with the Sarlacc pit, my guy? Like,
no.
Why? There was no reason for that.
It was fine.
It was completely cool the way it was in the OG 1983 Return of the Jedi. We did not need a weird fucking clamshell mouth that juts out of the... We didn't need it. It was so fucking stupid looking. I was so mad.
You might say that about every single alteration he made. Didn't need that. Didn't need it.
I don't know. Some of like the interstitial scenes where it was just like panning past the group of ships that he could not have done with the models they had in the past. I was fine with that. I was fine with like static images that they kind of played with. It was things like the weird green lounge singer and adding extra mouth to the Sarlacc pit, which it did not need. Fucking Sebulba showing up in Jabba's palace. Are you kidding me? Did you see that? Did you see that Sebulba shows up? They made a point to linger on a part of the screen, and you just see Sebulba's weird ass walk through the scene, and then it pans over to some... We don't need it. We don't need that at all.
That's the thing. I guess even some of them I found inoffensive. Like you, I think we have the same take. But again, we don't need it. Again, it was a perfect movie. It was great. It was like we got the story you wanted to tell in the original version. Like, I get it, you couldn't do this stuff at the time. That's just kind of how time works. Like, when you push the envelope on technology, like, yeah, you did what you could do in 1983. Now you can do stuff in different ways. But maybe you should do that stuff in a new, different movie. Because this actually might be a hot take. I don't know. It's a little warmer than the others because I feel like this scene really rubs everyone the wrong way. But the very final sort of panning past different landscapes or like congregations of planets that were under the yoke of the Empire. Yeah. Once we've destroyed the second Death Star.
We passed through like Coruscant, Tatooine, Naboo.
Yeah, Naboo. It's still like, I don't like it on an aesthetic level because it's, again, Star Wars, one of the things I like most about it is just the visual design, the texture, the broken down, cobbled together, lived in feel of this universe, right? It's got that great 80s texture. It's got a darkness to it. It's got a warmness to it. And then you put in this really slick, mid-aughts looking CGI, and it just really sticks out poorly. So I accept that, but I guess as a singular movie, it's a bad choice. Like, where are we? This means nothing to me. I've not seen these locations in this film I just watched. Yeah. But as the capstone to 6 films,
it makes sense.
I think it is. I think it kind of hits. Like, oh yeah, we were there, and right. It sort of ties it together very quickly in just a few seconds to remind you of like all the adventures you've had across this galaxy.
I still hated it.
The places you've been, the people you've met. Yeah, that's fair.
I understood it. Like, I understood why it was there.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't need it. Like,
no, I agree. You don't need it. That's the thing with all these. Best case scenario, like, you feel like I do about this one, like, I would prefer to just watch the film as it was, but I'm not gonna lie. As much as I don't like it on that aesthetic level, I kind of felt a little bit of just like, I don't know, nostalgia for all these films in that moment.
Okay, so
maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think you're wrong. I disagree with you, but I don't think you're incorrect. Yeah. At all.
I don't think you're incorrect.
I don't think you're incorrect, Brandon.
No, you're right.
Do you think in this film there are any other additions that are welcome?
Okay, like I was looking at, so I read a bunch of reviews. Like I said, I rounded up some, and a lot of people were bitching about the same stuff, but in the midst of like the negative reactions, like some people begrudgingly accepted like, oh, there was like some, I don't know, like motion stabilization or whatever. They cleaned up some of these scenes. Like, having not watched the original in so long, like I'm not in a place where I can really judge those changes, but I want to say they probably cleaned up the film pretty nicely.
I was going to say,
without like
the lightsaber battle, like between Vader and Luke, seemed cleaner than what I remember, and so did the speeder bike like chase. It didn't seem as like frenetic as I thought it was in the past. Like maybe those were things that were cleaned up, or maybe that's just, my brain working differently than it used to.
And that's how a remaster should be. It should be like, you should feel how you felt watching it for the first time and not notice the changes, and just it feels fresh and new, and it's cleaned up a little bit and you don't even notice, right?
Yeah.
It's just that
agreed.
Well done.
100% agreed.
But unfortunately, they didn't leave it there.
No.
They didn't leave it there. So what is the worst? I feel like Jedi Rocks is the worst offense this movie makes, because you've taken like a fine musical number. It, like, the thing about the original Opti Neck, like, I don't feel anything strongly about that musical number, but it was like atmospheric and fitting for the scene. And it was, again, just atmosphere for this scene. You're just trying to take in all of Jabba's palace and see all the creatures and characters being there, and, seeing the dancer get pulled towards Jabba. And it's about that. It's not about the song, but Jedi Rocks is it's about the song. It's now cartoonish to like jazz bluesy kind of like alien singers hamming it up along with all the other aliens. It becomes like a whole little set piece kind of moment. It becomes the focus, which I think is the worst offense that it makes.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think that is a glaring mistake, and it should not have occurred.
Yeah.
I think giving the Sarlacc pit a mouth, a separate mouth, a weird clamshell thing with extra tentacles, and almost a personality. It'd be like...
That's worse than Jedi Rocks. Wow.
It'd be like if you watched Jaws, and then you watched Jaws again, but you saw the shark a lot more often, and when you did, it had giant googly eyes and rounded teeth, and just like a big smile on its face.
Yeah, 2 mouths, 2 heads, 5 fins.
Like, all of a sudden...
And it's like doing dolphin flips out of the water.
When I was young, the Sarlacc pit was fucking scary, because I had no idea what happened when you went down that maw. Like, was that its mouth? Like, everything that went down there, did that just get, like, digested? Was that its esophagus, like, falling into it?
Yeah.
Is that how it fucking worked?
Your imagination runs wild, because you know you're going to get digested over, like, 1,000 years. Like, what's going to be doing that? What?
But instead...
You're right.
Fucking George Lucas is like, hey, we're going to make it look like a fucking oyster with a couple of extra tentacles attached to it, and it's going to eat Weequay as he falls off of the fucking skiff. And it's like, that, dude, you ruined it. Like, you absolutely ruined the horror of being launched into the Sarlacc pit.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you are, once again, correct. That one does active damage to...
the lore.
The mystique around... Yeah, it does. And like you said, the mystique and horror around this creature. I feel like Jedi Rocks does active damage to my psyche.
Yeah, no, it sucks. And it absolutely sucks ass.
My patience as a viewer for the entire film. But, okay, there's also... I feel like we have the triumvirate here of, like, the worst offenses of this movie. Those two. I have a pick for the third spot. Do you? Do you have, like, a third, like, worst thing that this movie does?
Deciding to shove Sebulba in there really fucked me off. Okay. Like, it's not enough to be in the running as, like, a third giant mistake, but, like, that did piss me off a little bit.
I see your Sebulba, and I raise you an Anakin Skywalker, youngified as a Force ghost at the end of the film.
You know what's funny? I don't think I would be bothered by it as much if they put Ewan McGregor in as Obi-Wan.
Yes, that's my exact issue.
Like
I wouldn't want to see Alec Guinness replaced by Ewan McGregor, but, like, all or nothing. This isn't fair. Why does he get to be young?
So I did think about something when it came to that, because I saw that, and my first thought was egregious. My second thought was, maybe your Force ghost recalls when you were the strongest with the light side of the Force. Like, that's... Like, you know how in like movies and in, like, paranormal mythology in general, like, the way a ghost is presented is how they remember themselves.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why a ghost, like, has, like, the same outfit on all the time, or you know, like, you know, the whole myth of the woman in white wearing her wedding dress as she's walking along the side of the road, that sort of thing. It's like,
sure.
Yeah. That whole thing. Maybe Anakin remembers himself. The last time he remembered himself as Anakin was when he was still Hayden Christensen. Before he lost all of his limbs due to lava and Ewan McGregor.
Yeah. I was thinking about something along those lines, because, like, Obi-Wan, you could see him just being more content about, like, I am just who I am. Like, I'm above worrying about, like, me in my prime and being represented that way for all eternity as a Force ghost, right? Like, I'm more in tune with the Force and, like, mature than that. But, like, Anakin's fucking immature and petty, and, like, no, I want to be young and hot. I gotta be young and hot.
He's a vain ass bitch.
He really is. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I don't.
That part, after once I thought about it that way, like maybe the last time Anakin remembers himself as Anakin is prior to his fall. And so that's how his Force Ghost presents itself. Like, I was cool with that. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere near as egregious as Jedi Rocks or the Sarlacc Pit.
I agree. It would be my number 3, I think. Because I don't like it. I don't like the choice. I can think about it in the way that you thought about it, which is kind of what I was like, the way I was interpreting it always. But it still gives me pause. Like, so they get to control the way they project out into the universe, which I guess makes sense. They have control over the Force. They're Jedi. But I still don't like. I just don't like it on just an aesthetic level. You know, we have like these 2 wise old Jedi. And like, I wanted to see the original Anakin, like, because I don't want to recall the young Anakin. He's not, I don't feel like that's a good representation of where he ended. Like, young Anakin was still full of like fucking vain ass pettiness and shit, right? Like, he was unhinged, angry. Like, that's not the representation we should have continuing of him out into eternity. We should have the final moments of Anakin. When he's been saved by his son, that's when he finally understands and I think comes back to the Force, and that's the more mature version of Anakin that should exist for all eternity, right?
I mean, maybe I don't like defending this at all. It feels real bad. But like,
oh yeah, hell yeah, here we go.
Part of me is also like, maybe this is the Anakin who was there for the birth of his kids. Like, maybe this is the Anakin who wasn't swayed by the Emperor. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a part of me that there is so much, I think, guilt, and with that, a little bit of pride and hope in his own kids that makes me wonder, like, is this the Anakin that he believes he could have been if he hadn't have fallen?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he's trying to, like, project himself as. Also, like, it'd be great if Anakin project himself like that, Yoda shows up as, like, a 6'4" muscled Kermit looking motherfucker, just like fucking yoked and so tall.
That's my issue with this, actually. It should be like a 5-minute scene where Anakin shows up and then like Obi-Wan looks over at him and just like phases out and phases back in as Ewan McGregor, and then Yoda sees them both and like, all right, hold my beer, and like phases out and then comes back like prime Yoda fighting like Count Dooku in the prequels, and it's just like flipping around and shit, and they just keep one-upping one another.
No, he just shows up as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with fucking Yoda ears. And he just looks.
He comes back as the Hulk.
Yeah,
and then it's like the post-credit sequence is Nick Fury coming around the Ewok party, like, I'm putting a team together.
I'm putting a team together.
Like, I don't know. Everything's one thing now.
Disney owns it all, so it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. So that's the bad shit. That's the new shit. We don't like it.
No, we really
Some
don't.
of it I begrudgingly accept, and I can look past it, but most of it I find
I'm not kidding. I'm
going to
be upset
annoying.
about the Sarlacc pit for several days. Like,
that really,
like,
yeah. Gotcha.
Genuinely, it makes me feel like if you watched Alien and then they remade Alien, but the aliens showed up and they were fucking Hello Kitty-ified or something. Like, just removing the horror out of something that terrified you.
Mm-hmm.
I just, it's so egregious. So mad about it.
Bad.
I will continue to be mad about it. But there is some absolute badass shit in this movie. A lot more badass shit than there is shit to complain about, at least to me.
Yeah, I think there's been times in my life where I thought it was my favorite. I don't really know, but it's got some of my favorite moments in any Star Wars movie for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we talked, what episode was that? We were talking about the best lightsaber battle, and I think we decided episode 1, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. It's like just a set piece, like, battle, like the choreography and everything and the music. Like, that's
So what is that?
The best it can get.
Duel of the Fates, I think, is the music on that one.
Yeah, I think that's right. But in terms of like an emotional moment that like watching it again last night, I still got goosebumps. And just like the swell of the music in the final like last leg of the Vader battle after he like threatens Leia, it's like, oh, you have a sister. Like if you don't turn, maybe she will. And like Luke, you know,
loses his shit,
rage, like lashing out, and like there's just so much like emotional investment in this moment. This like, and we've had the like it's just the build up to that. It's like the best tension in any Star Wars movie. Like Luke giving himself over, being taken to the Emperor slowly, them having those moments to just talk, the two of them, father and son, on the way to the Emperor. Luke still believing he's going to turn Vader, you know, before he's been tempted and sort of influenced by the Emperor. And you really, as things escalate and you see the rebels like eating shit and him eyeing the lightsaber in the darkness of this like Emperor's lair, looking out into just space, infinite space. Like it's the final bit of this movie is 10 out of 10 perfect. Like it's as good as it gets.
Yeah,
it really is.
Agreed.
That final battle, I love it.
I would like to point something out that I hadn't thought about. And it struck me more, I think, as an adult than it did as a kid. A New Hope and Empire, like you have the creation of the party, right? Like you have the gathering of the heroes sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You really get to see their growth in this movie. Like,
yeah,
even like when Han's like when he's out of the carbonite and he still can't see, but he knows Luke is there. And he's like, you know, like, how are we doing? You know, just like normal. That bad, huh? And it's just like this is a fucking family. Like,
yeah,
you don't see that a lot in Empire or A New Hope for that matter. Like, but this entire movie, even with Han's jealousy about Leia and Luke's relationship and him not kind of understanding it through the entire thing, like all of these heroes that have come together, including Lando and Chewie and even the droids to an extent. I don't even want to talk about Wedge Antilles, fucking MVP of the series. But like you get to see them as a team, as a family. And it feels really good for someone who is a very soft boy who loves like interpersonal relationships with his heroes and watching them grow and have connections. This felt pretty right.
Yeah, it did. You get great moments of them just being separated and having little mini adventures on their own. Some of them more than others, right? Like this is the culmination of Luke's journey. Going off alone to face his father and the Emperor.
But
alone.
You also get them all
even
back together, and they're all so excited to see one another.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's so cathartic. Just talking about growth, like the original, A New Hope. You know, they're still like it's still hero's journey archetypes. Like I love the movie. I think they're a little bit more than that, but like the scoundrel, the hero, the princess. You know, more like just linked to those roles, whereas like here, like you get genuine growth. Like even small stuff like Han coming to Leia near the end, like she's thinking about Luke. He's like, you love him, don't you? Oh yeah, I do. And it's like, okay, when he comes back, I won't get in the way. You know, and just like that's maturity, that's a growth. Like he's still Han,
like he's still pissed off about the whole thing.
Like I thought we had something here, but like, I'll step away. Like, okay, that's something. You know, he's taking this maturely.
Well, I mean, he also lets Lando take the Falcon.
Yeah.
You know she's the fastest in the fleet. You have to take her.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's just good shit, man.
It's a very satisfying end. For me, like everyone gets their moment to shine. You get them, some more than others, but everyone gets a satisfactory wrap up. And like it really is primarily the story of Anakin Skywalker's redemption and Luke's being the Return of the Jedi, right? I think this is the best title for any movie, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just, you got the depth to that, right? It's like, yeah, the Jedi are coming back through Luke. He's once again bringing the Force back, but also you have the return of the Jedi Anakin Skywalker to the light side of the Force, right? Like his return.
Not so it's for me it's a lovely, like there's three levels here. You've got,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You've got Anakin returning as one we've lost, right? You've got Luke as the new master, and then you have Leia, who will be our new apprentice.
Yeah. And then more generally, just like the return of the ways of the Jedi.
Right.
Like we have now an opening for the future. And just all that riding on this. It's very satisfying. And then I mentioned I love the texture, the tactility of the Star Wars universe. And we have some great biomes here. Like, yeah, we are revisiting some previous locations. Like we're back on Tatooine in the sands. But the forest moon and just like all the lush greenery contrasted with the sands, contrasted with the coldness and grayness of space and like the dynamic lighting there. I think just like visually, I think it's my favorite film on a visual level because we get that variation in environments and they're all just like the color palette is so varied.
Yeah.
Throughout, and we're like jumping around to these different locations. I mean, Hoth was great, but it's I guess it's less of a jump from like the vast cold white snows to space as opposed to like Endor and the greenery there, the lushness there, and then back into space. I really like the variation.
And you know what? I would be remiss if I did not say that our actors in this movie are fucking beautiful. Like this is Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie at like their prime. Like I didn't expect to walk into this movie and go, holy shit, Mark Hamill is beautiful. But like Mark Hamill is beautiful. He looks great. Like every member of the cast is looking great. They're doing, I mean, Billy D. Williams, Jesus Christ. And they all play everything just so well as creating this lovable group of heroes and rebels. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I think it's a wonderful film. Now, like I said, I don't think I've ever just sat down to watch Return of the Jedi. So it was, and I think also like having read a bunch of negative reviews, like I pulled one 3-star review and the rest are 1 out of 10s. I was starting to wonder, could it be better? I guess what I'm getting at is when I saw these movies for the first time, when I sat down to watch them as a kid, I watched them all with like a completely uncritical eye. Like there's no potential for like disappointment in the conclusion to the trilogy or like wishing it had been another way. Cause like when you watch these through as a kid, like you just take everything, at least I did, as like just an inevitability. Like this is the Star Wars trilogy. It's existed long before I was born into this world. It will remain once I've gone. It's as immutable as any of the like foundational myths and religions that compose my like little naive world.
Yeah,
like
sure.
My little kid brain, right? Like it can't be any other way than what it is. So you just accept what it is, right? And I wonder, like now, if we had come off of Empire, if you and I had been adults and been waiting for the sequel, the conclusion to the trilogy, and walked into Jedi, would we feel more negatively about it? Would we feel disappointed on any front? Do you see any opportunity for that? Because I guess I was reading a lot of reviews for people who were so caught up on, I mean, there's so much hate on the Ewoks and some of like the choices for like some of the more comedic moments in this movie, more so than in the previous 2 films. But then also just like, we're back on Tatooine. There's another Death Star. We're rehashing that. I never had that take on it. I wonder if I would have felt a little, like if it would have felt anticlimactic to me, walking in and seeing some of these things revisited in the third installment as a moviegoer in 1983. What do you think?
No. So I think introducing another giant super weapon in the third movie makes sense. Like, we have the first one.
Mm-hmm.
The second movie, your main weapon is basically the Executor class Star Destroyer, right? The first Super Star Destroyer. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna go hardcore into these ship names, baby. So bringing back a planet killer to capstone the trilogy makes sense to me. Like, the only way they could have made it better for me is if they did what they did in the new trilogy and they brought in like a star killer, which, if I'm not mistaken, was supposed to be Luke Skywalker's real name, was Star Killer.
Oh, right, I've heard that. Yeah.
But like, that would be the only way to amp up the danger. But they say that the Death Star 2 was 460% larger than the first Death Star by scale. Like, it was, I mean, we could see it in this movie. Like, it was knocking out giant Corsair class cruisers out of the sky with no problem.
Yeah.
We didn't even see its planet destruction capability yet. So I think introducing a bigger version of the bigger problem we had or the biggest problem we had in the first film makes sense.
I agree. And also, it's not about that, really.
No.
Like, the first film is about the Death Star. Like, that's the primary conflict. I mean, there's more to it than that, but it's much more about the Death Star than this movie is about the Death Star. The Death Star just happens to be a part of this final push by the
plot
the
device.
rebels, but it's really more about Luke's story.
And
facing the Emperor.
Yeah, they could have had this entire thing on the Executor class Star Destroyer, and it have its cannons to bear, like,
yeah,
and it would have been just as effective, I think, but it wouldn't have been as satisfying.
Yeah,
because
there's something just like the half-completed Death Star hanging there in space.
Not to mention,
under construction. It's got a great visual design.
There's something about the rebellion destroying something before it's able to cause a giant genocide. Like, they're able to kill this one before it kills a planet, unlike what happened with Alderaan. Like, we get to save something here. I mean, with catastrophic losses, sure, but we do get to see them prevent this thing from being fully online.
Yeah. And aside from just like narrative satisfaction, like, look, you're fighting the Nazis. Like, the Nazis don't just make like a one-off tank or battleship or whatever it is. Like, yeah, they would continue to make these things.
Yeah.
They keep pumping them out.
Especially if it worked the first time. They're going to make it bigger and better. I mean, every military in the world, they're like, hey, you know what? We made a bomb. Let's see if we can make a bigger one, and a bigger one, and a bigger one, and a bigger
makes
one.
Sense.
So it, logically, it makes perfect sense. As for the Ewoks, I don't fucking care, dude. Give me some teddy bears. They're cute.
I like Ewoks.
They're
kind of like the Ewoks, yeah.
One of the first action figures that I ever got. Okay, so I got 3 or 4 action figures early on as a kid. I got a Spider-Man, I got a Han Solo, I got a Boba Fett, and I got a Wicket W. Warwick. So yeah.
What's the last one?
A fucking Ewok, baby.
Oh, that's the name of the Ewok? I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's the Ewok who greets Leia with the...
I was wondering if that's... Okay,
yeah, the brown hood, played by Warwick Davis. Wicket. His name is Wicket.
Okay.
And I loved him so much.
Yeah, he's so cute. Okay. See, that's one of the ones that came up. I'm with you on that. There's 2 other things I was thinking about. One is a more general thing, which is I felt like the first two movies really expanded the universe. Like, of course, The New Hope, you're jumping in for the first time, so everything is new. You're being introduced to the Force and like fundamental concepts of the universe.
Sure.
And then in Empire, you're seeing a lot more of that universe, more of the beings that populate it. And you're getting like fundamental lore that really expands your understanding of what the Force is and who's able to wield it and how you train in it. You know, you get to meet Yoda. You go a lot of places, right? You cover a lot of ground. And I guess on that metric, I can sort of see, again, I don't feel this way, but I can see a viewer looking at Jedi coming in being like, well, we're back on Tatooine. Like, we've kind of been here before. Like, we are going to a new forest moon, but I don't feel like watching Jedi, it really expands your understanding of the universe. And I don't think it should. I don't think it's about that. Again, this is about the culmination of our characters' stories and wrapping them up and the redemption of Anakin Skywalker. Like, that's what it's supposed to be about. And I think it, running off of the momentum of the things that have been established in the previous two films is fine. And like, you know, going a couple new places, but I don't need all that. But I can sort of see it on that metric of like, just as a film that takes you places and gives you new ideas and concepts. Yeah, it's not as strong on that front as the last two.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
Because I think this does a very clever way of going to opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to world building. We do return to Tatooine, but we become grounded in Tatooine because we see the underbelly, the darkness, the beginning of Han.
Yeah.
We see things that are not political or noble or, I mean, honestly, even negotiable. Like the entirety of Empire, right? Like Empire was trying to find your way in a world of politics, damn near. Where this brings us right back down to the ground. There is not a damn thing Luke can do except for fight. Where the end of the movie is the exact opposite of that. We have the highest level of politicizing and like we go from the dregs of society to the highest possible level of society within this universe. From the underbelly to
That's a good point.
the literal emperor of the empire and how he functions. And I think that's, I mean, the other movies give us kind of a ramp to those heights and those lows, I think.
I think that's a great takeaway. I agree with all that. Man, you're saying that like, yeah, we're going from Jabba's palace and then like being a fly on the wall and like this assemblage of just Nazis and like the hangar bay as like the Emperor steps out with his like just bold red Imperial Guard.
Yeah.
And like the dynamism of that scene and then like Vader's all black and then the white stormtroopers in the gray. It's just visually incredible. I think that's all great. Again, it's not really a criticism. Like I love the movie. I'm sort of like trying to understand like the standpoint of fans who were disappointed going into this one and like seeing if there's any basis for that. And I think you just made some great points, but I will say like everything you said, like we are still going to, again, previously seen locations. Like we've kind of seen the dark underbelly with like the cantina in the first film. I guess that's my only point is like we're grounded there. We're seeing more of it. But I guess I do feel like the film is less expansive.
That's fair.
Than the first two. Like it's getting into the details, like the nooks and crannies of this universe more so than the first two films did. But it's not expanding our sense of like what else is out there, I guess, as much as the last two. So I guess on that front is what I was getting at.
Yeah, no, I get that.
There's less of that. And I think that's the correct choice. I think we should be honing in on the things that are important in this universe. Like that's what I feel like a trilogy should do. The first film and maybe the second one should really expand this world and bring in a lot of ideas and characters and concepts. And then the third one should be like tying those up and like
ironing things out a little bit.
Including those. Yeah. So I think it's perfect. I don't think that's a criticism, but I guess I can sort of see feeling disappointed maybe if you're looking for more of that. I don't know. The third one, is this, am I counting? Is there a third one? Anyway, the last one I wanted to bring up. I feel like this one is actually maybe right. I wanted to hear your thoughts on this. Boba Fett. Can you see being disappointed about how he just doesn't really amount to anything, or do you think that's clever? He's like hinted at so many times. This like background presence, you know.
So okay,
and he just fucking down to the.
I think
what'd you call it? The desert oyster.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Well, he also in the remake you see him escape.
Did I miss that?
Maybe. But like when the barge explodes, you see him in his jetpack fly out of the Sarlacc pit.
No shit, I didn't even notice that. I wonder if I was making a note about what I was watching, or for a podcast, or maybe I just zoned out.
Yeah. Huh. So he makes it out in the remaster or whatever.
The dead speak. The Fets live.
Yeah.
Everything, nothing has stakes. Everything just still. Fuck off.
I mean, he has his own fucking TV show now, dude. But
oh wait, that's post. I've not seen that.
It takes place
post.
It takes
original
place
trilogy
5 years after Jedi.
I thought that was supposed to be a prequel. I don't know anything about these Disney shows. I haven't watched like any of them.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett takes place like I think it's 5 or 10 years after Jedi.
Okay. Well.
So here's my thought on Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Him going out like a chump is fucking hilarious to me. What pissed me off,
I think it's
with the rewatch for this examination was it like I a little mentioned earlier in Jabba's palace early on, you just get panned over to Boba Fett holding a cocktail with an umbrella in it or some shit, like just hanging around in Jabba's palace every I mean literally every 2 or 3 minutes you see Boba Fett, even if he just walks by the screen, like hey, you guys love Boba Fett? We got more Boba Fett for your Boba Fett. Here's some Boba Fett in your Boba Fett. And it's like, God damn. All right, gang. We don't... Yes, he's supposed to be mysterious and cool and barely speak. And instead, you're like, this week on Boba Fett's of Tatooine, like, fuck off. So seeing him get absolutely shadracked today actually made me feel pretty good about it. But I don't know, man. Bounty hunters make mistakes. Like, he's not shooting to kill. Like, when he jumps on the skiff with Han and Luke, like, yeah, he has his blaster that gets cut in half, and then he wraps Luke in a rope. Like, dude, he's got a literal blade made of laser beams. That rope ain't gonna do shit for long, which it doesn't.
He's trying to get that bounty, right?
I don't know. I mean, like, Jabba already said they're supposed to be dead. Like, there's no bounty left to claim.
Oh, I figured he was gonna try and take Luke to the Emperor. Did I misread that?
Yeah, maybe. I never saw that.
Oh, I was always wondering, like, why would he try and spare Luke at that moment and, like, tie him up? Like, in this moment, like, you probably still got to have, like, money on the brain. So, like, oh, did he know that the Emperor wanted Luke? I mean, I guess he would have to, right?
I mean, my understanding was that Vader was looking for Han and Luke, and that's what happened in Empire.
I don't know.
Me neither.
I don't know.
But
I don't know. It does feel like a sort of like a Chekhov's gun situation or something. Like, you have this, you got to fire your Boba.
Yeah.
You gotta fire your Fett. And he just never quite.
If you have a Boba Fett in Act 1, the Boba Fett has to go off by Act 3. Otherwise, and instead, Boba Fett gets absolutely fucked in Act 1, and then you don't have a Boba Fett in Act 3.
Yeah, the gun falls off the table and his dick falls out of its barrel or whatever. I don't know, but like the thing is, like, yeah, George Lucas, like, Star Wars in general just does that. They get goofy. Like, yeah, you have to, like, the Wilhelm scream going in the Sarlacc pit and, like, shit like that. Like, they like to just get goofy with it, you know? And some of the goofiness is more egregious. Sometimes it's Jedi Rocks, and sometimes it's just like building up this background character, and you keep thinking like there's this big confrontation coming. You know, it's almost like a No Country for Old Men kind of situation. You're just like, anticipating this final showdown, and then it just like withholds from you.
Yeah.
You know? It just leaves you there on the edge. It's brilliant. I don't know if it's brilliant. I don't know. I am conflicted about it. Like it's not satisfying as a viewer, but then it's kind of funny.
It's for me when I first saw it, my first thought was, holy shit, the really, really badass bounty hunter just got basically kicked in the ass and completely screwed up. Like he made a mistake. He didn't keep his eye on the ball, and now he's in the Sarlacc pit. Womp womp.
For 1,000 years.
I was fine. Well, no, he flies the fuck out. Remake.
For 1,000 seconds.
Not even that.
For just a little moment.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of all I had.
3 minutes.
But all of my criticisms were really just about shoehorned in after the fact nonsense. The core film, I love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's great. It's great.
I think so. Some people don't.
This is where I thought we were gonna go. Yep. Give me.
Let's not stay here too long because.
Yeah.
But let's get a little taste.
Yeah. Give me a couple of these 1-star reviews.
Let's ease in because we're coming off of. I mean, I think 10 out of 10. I think I give this 10 out of 10.
Yeah. I mean the remake, the 2004 edition to stuff drops it down to like a 9.5 for me, but if you go to the 1983 version of this movie, it is a 10 out of 10, no question for me.
Yeah, I think the whole original trilogy, big fan. So source it
hard.
So let's not go straight to 1. Let's ease ourselves in with a 3 out of 10. How about that?
I love
as good
that.
As it gets.
That's great.
In my roundup. Return of the Jedi. From B8224678377, June 4th, 2020. I'm not sure who should be blamed for this disaster of a movie. It's either the director or the writer. Oh, wait, they're both Rian Johnson. Maybe it's Disney's fault for hiring him. Or maybe it's George Lucas for selling his franchise to Disney. Hard to blame him, though. $4 billion. Rian Johnson either hates Star Wars or just has a complete disregard for the fans. It is so different that it doesn't feel connected to the saga at all. I think we're just going to stop there. Hey, my friend.
I think he got it wrong. I think he made a whoopsie doodle on this one.
You're on the wrong movie. I got a kick out of that one.
Just the fact that you take the time to write a post and not even take the time to look at the title of the movie you're writing the post for.
I don't know. Yeah, you just hey, who can keep these Jedi straight?
I mean, there are so many Jedis. God, that's fucking funny.
All right, let's go to a real one. This one is from Delhi 584876, October 31st, 2009.
Okay.
1 out of 10. Very disappointed. Spoilers. This one is bulleted. Love a good bullet list.
Sorry.
In the review.
Anytime you say 1 out of 10, very disappointed. Spoilers. Like, it just gives me the giggles. I don't know why.
What's wrong with this movie? Number 1, Ewoks. I mean, come on. The empire that terrorized the galaxy and can destroy an entire planet with a single laser blast can be defeated by cute little teddy bears armed with sticks and stones? Ewoks were an obvious merchandising ploy. It's a damn shame Lucas sold out his masterpiece saga to sell a few cheap toys. I think we need to pause here. We need to address this point.
Yeah, I hate this.
This point comes up in like so many of the... Okay, this movie, you might expect, has a lot of reviews, actually. People have had thoughts on this film.
Huh, surprising.
1,040 reviews. That's kind of also why I just decided to go for negative, like just the 1 stars, because like I've read a lot of reviews in preparation for some of these shows. I'm not fucking reading 1,040 reviews of Star Wars.
Nah.
Not enough.
I read 340 different trivia posts, and mine was, hey, wiener dog. So like I get it.
Wiener dogs and jizz. So only 23 of those were 1-star reviews out of the 1,040. So yeah, but they're out there. Okay. Hey, friend, you've missed the point.
Yeah.
Y'all missed the point. Yeah, the Americans got fucking wrecked. Like it was a response to Vietnam.
Yeah, it's called
like
guerrilla warfare. Like,
yeah, it happens time and time and again. The hubris of empire taken down by people with like less technologically advanced weaponry, because again, hubris, and just like imperial overreach and not understanding, like not taking the time to understand
like
what like the situation you're going into, and also just being on the wrong side of history
of a
and,
conflict,
like, humanity.
But I mean, like,
and getting your ass handed to you by, I mean, I think it's incredible.
Yeah,
it's
agreed.
Like it's the Ewoks' best. I don't even want to say redeeming quality, because I like Ewoks. They're cute.
They're
cute,
adorable,
and they will fucking wreck your shit. They will. I mean, I think one of the most satisfying anythings in Star Wars is the two logs.
The two logs
coming down
the ATST. Yeah.
Oh, ATST. I don't know, my fake ass fan. Sorry. AT-ATs are the big ones, right? With the four legs, the more elephantine ones.
Yeah,
that's right. That I think about that scene. I was waiting for that scene. It's funny, like the things you wait for as a viewer. It's like, I can't wait.
Mine was
to
the
see that thing get crushed.
logs and the ATST like trips on the logs that fall.
That's good
down,
too.
And they just have like a fucking
just need some
Benny
yakety sax.
Yeah, we need yakety sax, some Benny Hill in the background. I just
again
look.
Star Wars is fucking goofy.
Guerrilla warfare works. It's what the Americans did to the British in the Revolutionary War. It's what Vietnam did to us. It's worked every fucking time. This is why the Ewoks work. Chill the fuck out. Like, damn.
To be disappointed by that, like even if it strains credulity, like can't you just enjoy getting like seeing the Nazis get fucking wrecked?
Can't you enjoy watching the cute little teddy bears win?
Right? It's just so satisfying on that level, even if you, and again, it's perfectly logical. They have come down, they're just this Imperial force, they don't know the terrain, they've landed here, they're just a bunch of like general stormtroopers and the resident like native beings who live there and know the terrain and know how to fight in that terrain, kick their ass. It's awesome.
Well, no, the Care Bears can't beat Mr. Mean because the Care Bear stare is not really a real thing. Fuck you, it's the Care Bears. They're gonna win because of the fucking Care Bears. Fuck off. Just absolutely fuck off.
Anyway, that criticism I saw a lot.
And I hate it. I hate it
point
so
number 2.
much. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I pulled this review out. We have to address that right away.
Yeah.
Number 2, Luke. He's no longer the young, wide-eyed, panicky novice we knew him as in the first 2. He now plays a Mr. Miyagi-like character who talks like he's reading a fortune cookie. Your overconfidence is your weakness is a perfect example. Yeah, we called that character growth.
Yeah.
Earlier.
It's been
that.
years, my guy.
we kind of like that. He does like you. I don't know, like the sort of slim. I mean, it's very slimming. Like you were talking about Mark Hamill's looks in this. Like he looks great in just like the black sort of like long sleeved top.
Yeah.
And like you know, he's just coming in like with that calm demeanor and like that's me coming home after like my first year of college, or maybe even like that first semester on winter break. Like I am enlightened now.
Yeah,
I know. I've been to college. I'm wearing a turtleneck.
I'm sure you've never read Gravity's Rainbow.
That's the alteration I want to see. Just like George Lucas, like CGI, like shoehorning in, just like
a fucking English major,
some heady reading material. Yeah.
Excuse me. Have you ever heard of Thomas Pynchon? Let's talk T.S. Eliot, shall we? And then Han shoots him in the face because it's deserved.
Father, I think there's still potential in you.
Yeah.
I know you've only read like the Da Vinci Code, but I feel like I can still get in there. You have time. You can broaden your horizons.
Oh, Christ.
Number 3,
I was the
Solo.
worst.
The man. We all were. That's the thing. Like I'm looking at Luke, like I see myself in you a little bit. Young and confident. Like, okay, you haven't been a Jedi Master for that long. You rein it in a little bit, but I'm in the thrall of the movie. It's fine.
Luke with fucking Kant in one arm and a clove cigarette in the other.
Yeah.
Christ.
Number 3, Han Solo. The man who played vital roles in the first 2 movies is now reduced to comic relief with a few unfunny wisecracks. And I'm no military expert, but how can he go from a self-centered, smuggling scoundrel barfly who wanted nothing to do with the rebellion against the Empire to a general overnight? Again, pause. No. No. It's a ragtag group of rebels, and they are using whatever tactics and personnel that they have, and this is like he has proven himself, right?
Not to mention, they asked for volunteers for a suicide mission.
Also true.
And he was like, yeah, I'll do it. It's really dangerous, Chewie. I didn't know if I wanted to speak for you or not. And Chewie's like, fuck you, of course I'm going. Like, he signed up for a suicide mission.
Yeah. And anyway, just look at like a history of like revolutions. And like, yeah, you have like revolutionary leaders that maybe before that they weren't established bureaucrats or like in any like government position or whatever, but they rose the ranks of fighting on the front lines for some cause. And when everything shakes out and the rebels win, like they're the ones who are
hey my guy,
the future, running the show.
Hey my guy, dude who wrote this review, how about you watch Hamilton? Like, it's on Disney Plus as well. The musical Hamilton is there. One of the freedom fighters was a fucking tailor. Like, a tailor. This is how revolutions are fought.
Number 4, Luke and Darth. They were furiously swinging lightsabers at each other in the previous film, but now are calling each other father and my son. And when Luke said, I know there's good in you. Really, Luke? He murdered your mother, mentor and teacher, aunt and uncle, your buddy Biggs, the entire planet of Alderaan, and many of your rebel colleagues. He also froze your buddy Han after he tortured him for no reason. And he chopped off your hand. Where exactly do you see the good in him? Pause. How do you not see the beauty in this story? How cold do you have to be?
This guy.
It's cold as space.
This guy is fucking Megatron or something. Like, this is a robot man who has no heart and soul.
The father-son bond and the link, and like now that he's processed that, like that's my father, Anakin Skywalker, in there, and that doesn't get you there.
Not to mention the fact that he is intended to be the antithesis of Darth, which is supposed to be, I don't see bad in everything, I see good in everything. Like, he is supposed to embody the light side, which is everything can be redeemed. Despite the fact that Darth Vader is a horrible, horrible villain, there is still a small iota of good in everyone that can be redeemed. The moral of the fucking story is good can win.
I know, it's just the most beautiful. It's the most beautiful story trilogy, just like on that metric. Like, it's a world it's a universe I want to believe in, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to live in that universe.
When the good guys
where, like,
win,
we can always redeem our villains. Yeah, and like don't give up on people, and we can find that good and pull it back out and bring them back. And what? Nothing. Deli, I'm sorry. Like, we usually, like, I love the hot takes. I do, and I'm enjoying yours. And we're kind of just using you as like a way to sort of deal with a lot of the hot takes that I saw replicated through numerous reviews. I don't mean to come into your deli and just like shit in all your meats and piss on your bread, but we really watched different movies.
Yeah. Also, hey, Deli, are you okay, bud? Do you want to talk to somebody? Email us at sourcenotfoundpod@gmail.com. I'll talk to you, my guy. I'll give you a virtual hug.
We'll find the good. We're going to find the good in this review, and we're going to pull it out. Let's go. Number 5, Darth Vader. The dark, menacing, most badass villain in movie history is now a cowering wimp in front of the Emperor. Until the end, of course. Thoughts?
No. No.
Okay.
It's
Right.
it's the fucking Sith rule of 2. Like, there's a master and a student, and there will always be a master and a student. That is how the Sith work. Like, the Emperor absolutely fucked Darth Vader's entire thing up and actually turned him into Darth Vader. His name is Sidious, for Christ's sake. Like, he's not being even the Emperor calls him my friend, not my pupil. Like, yes, Vader calls him master because that's the same way that Obi-Wan referred to Qui-Gon and Anakin referred to Obi-Wan, etc. But no, that's no, I don't agree
I think
with
it's like following up from the previous point, like, yeah, aside from like the lore of Star Wars, if you don't accept that, like, or the rule of two or whatever, it's again important that yes, we have a human being inside of this machinery that we are trying to rediscover and pull back out from the clutches of the dark side. The Emperor is beyond that. He's sacrificed his humanity. He no longer has any of that left. So he's just sort of like he's sort of an encapsulation of like what the Force will do if left unchecked and you sacrifice the last of your humanity to it, right? Like, so yes, Darth Vader should sort of be, I wouldn't call him a cowering wimp, but he should be like, there should be a contrast between him and the Emperor. Like, you should see the difference. You're supposed to.
Right? Something just kind of hit me, and maybe this is absolute dog shit that I'm about to spew out of my face hole, but like, the Emperor is where absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? But because the Emperor is above Vader, Vader has no absolute power, so he can still be redeemed.
Ooh, that's a nice addition to that idea. I love that.
Cool. Not dog shit out of my face hole. Love that.
Smart. Good take. Number 6, Jabba the Hutt. This ugly worm-like blob who laughs like Santa Claus with a hangover and speaks some Orcish language, but always manages to throw out 2 or 3 English words into each sentence. Me wong ug dug mazul guvel Jedi mind trick. I mean, Jedi, no. I mean, that's like, Jedi is Jedi. You would probably just say it as Jedi in whatever language. Maybe mind trick is pushing it, but like, I don't know. As someone who studies Japanese, like, occasionally you just get something that just comes in as it is. Like, it just is taken as a full phrase. And you might have stuff in the language that you're like translating it into that could, like, you obviously have a word for mind and a word for trick, and you might, independently translate those 2 words into the host language or whatever, but like, or the target language. But sometimes things just come in as like it's a Jedi mind trick, and that's what we call it in any language. And again, I don't know. It just, I don't get hung up on that. I'm too busy like trying to plug my ears at fucking Jedi Rocks. I don't have time.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to focus on linguistics when it comes to Hutties.
I think we're just really we're just really grasping here now. Number 7, Boba Fett. Here we go. Let me just kind of address this one. This lurking villain has little dialogue in the whole series and none at all in Return. So why is he even in this saga? Just to end up as a burp joke? What a waste. You're not wrong on that one. We kind of talked it through.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm conflicted. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, it's fine.
Number 8, the Sarlacc pit. Okay, first of all, who lives to be 1,000? And secondly, with no oxygen in his belly, they'd probably be dead in less than an hour. Slowly digested in over 1,000 years. Wow, just like when you eat a bagel. Yeah, you're not going to be alive. Like, I don't think they're intending for you to
live for 1,000 years, you absolute moron.
Put me in that Sarlacc pit. Sounds painful, but I mean, how else am I going to live so long? Like, it's the secret. It's the fountain. That's what it is. It's the fountain of youth. It's a Sarlacc pit.
It's the Sarlacc pit. Yeah. It's a monkey's paw situation. You'll live forever, but you'll be slowly digested the whole time.
Real Faustian bargain. And you got to deal with all those extra tentacles now in the re-release. That's the real danger. In like 1,000 years, how many more of those is George Lucas going to shoehorn in? You don't know.
Hell.
The future,
if I see another clamshell,
could bring all kinds of things.
And you also have to deal with weak ways down there. Another couple of those prune-faced dudes. I think Weequay is the only one that I remember being named. But sorry, I'm actually a really big fan. I know names and shit.
No, I'm impressed. I wish I were on your level. I just have to be like, yeah. No, I know the character. I didn't know the name of that character, but I remember how they look. 2 more points on this one. Number 9, the Luke Leia sibling thing. Okay, George. It worked in Empire when you shocked your audience with Darth Vader announcing he's Luke's father. But the Luke Leia thing was an obvious attempt for a second shocking, but it missed this time. Don't you remember they tongue kissed each other on Hoth? I don't remember that.
I mean, they kissed. I didn't know it was a tongue kiss.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that.
I mean,
I haven't watched.
They do kiss.
There was a smooch.
They smooch.
Yeah. We remember the smooch. Was it really? I don't think it's that.
They didn't
graphic.
make out, I don't think.
Are you, Deli?
Are you projecting, my guy?
We're just gonna move on. Number 10, the Death Star. Where's your originality, George? We kind of also talked about this.
Yeah,
one.
fuck off, Deli. Sorry, man.
I'll give you Boba Fett, and you know what? I like different takes on films. We have a very different take on this film, but yeah, I liked most of those things that you did not. I think that I wanted to use that one because it really is a nice roundup of like most of the most frequent complaints. The other thing was like, oh, this movie is basically like selling out, or it's just a merchandising ploy, which I can't see how it's more of a merchandising ploy than any other previous Star Wars film. Like, yeah, that was always on George Lucas's mind. Like, didn't he famously forego some kind of salary or something? I have the details wrong. Maybe you know. He took like the licensing rights for like the toy lines and all that stuff on the prequels and got paid that way.
Yeah.
And was like, it was a brilliant move. Like, he knew.
Yeah, he ended up making hundreds of millions of dollars instead.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I mean, the whole thing, like, you could make that case for any of the Star Wars movies. Like, oh, what is this cantina scene? They just want a bunch of, like, different interesting aliens in here so they can make toys out of them. And they did. Yeah. They've been doing that since
Why shove us into a place that has Minox attached to the fucking Millennium Falcon? I don't want to buy a Minox toy. Yeah, no. You're going to buy
Someone does.
You're going to buy a Minox toy. I bought a Minox toy. You're going to buy a fucking Minox toy.
And I'm over here, and I don't know what a Minox is. But, hey.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I do like Star Wars. Like, I mean, I think I made that clear. I'm a big fan of these movies. I don't know if you can say like a big fan, because when you say you're a big Star Wars fan, that seems to mean something more than just enjoying the films immensely. It means you know what a Minox is.
Yeah,
you know, at the very least.
As a little closing point from me, apparently Kaylin and I, at least, are such Star Wars fans. A guy in our neighborhood who does like construction work in our neighborhood, he's done some work around our house and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He contacted me today with a very simple text message. Hey man, you guys like Star Wars, right? And I was like, yeah, sure. He goes, check this out. And he sent me a picture of a lightsaber. And I was like, that's fucking rad. And he's like, do you want it? I was like, all right. Yeah, sure, man. And it was Cal Kestis's lightsaber from Jedi Survivor. And it wasn't just Cal Kestis's lightsaber from Jedi Survivor. It's like $170 combat ready lightsaber.
What?
That he ended up.
Wow. Where do you even buy that?
Ultra Sabers.
Okay.
And it like lights up green. The blade's a little shorter than I would have liked if I was actually fighting somebody, but like it's heavy fucking duty and it looks awesome. And that's just apparently who I am now. I'm a guy who's like, hey, I found a lightsaber at this like property clean out thing, and I was like, man, this looks really rad. I don't need it, but Bo may like it. It's like, fuck yeah, dude, give me a fucking lightsaber.
I want people to give me lightsabers. Hey, we're gonna I'm editing this one. We're gonna cut that out. I know Minox. Yeah, no, we're gonna pick it up here. Yeah, Minox. I know all about them. I know a lot of lore. I don't want this to be too long of an episode, so I'll save it for later. But just know, massive Star Wars fan. Anyone out there that wants to offload a cool lightsaber, can't find a bigger fan than me. I'm here. sourcenotfound@gmail.com.
sourcenotfoundpod@gmail.com.
I don't even know our email. Forget Star Wars. I don't know our own show.
In the heading line, just say free lightsaber for Brandon.
Make sure you say not for Bo. You put in. I won't read anything that's not addressed to me personally.
Care of Minox.
You know, I have like I think I had like 6 or 7 reviews. We've managed to we got a lot of material out of the deli. We got a big old sandwich there.
Yeah.
Let's just do one more.
One more is good for me.
Because we've been talking. Yeah. Because this one raised a question, and I need to know what you think about this, because I don't know what they're talking about.
Okay.
Little Bala away.
I'm sorry. One more. God damn it. You got me.
I was reading that username for the first time, and I don't know, something got me. I don't know what that was. Lil Bala 08. Lil Bala 08.
Wait, is
something
it
just tickled me
is
with
it
that one.
Lil Bala 08?
Lil Bala.
Lil Bala 08.
Yeah, LILBALLA 08, September 15th, 2006. More like Lil Bala 06. What an awful film, 1 out of 10. I want 90 minutes of my life back. This is not a...
It's a 2 hour, 2 hour and 16-minute movie, my guy.
I think that's as far as they made it. This is quite possibly the worst film I have ever seen. What made it so terrible, you may ask? Shall we start at the beginning, where sound quality was so bad that it was near impossible to hear what any of the woeful actors were saying? There was obviously no editing, as character development scenes were painfully long and pointless, although a good opportunity to make a cuppa. The, in quotes, 5 hot chicks were average, and if you're hoping for a bit of skin, you'll be disappointed, as the best on offer is a passably attractive girl. I see you. Wait, just hold with me. Let's try and get to the end of this one. As a passably attractive girl in skimpy shorts, fleeing for her life for about 10 minutes at most. The plot is barely existent, the filming dreadful, and there are simply not enough negative adjectives to describe this film. Did someone mention that this was made with just $35 million? That would have to be the most destructive use of money since the Eat a Tapeworm to Lose Weight campaign in the 60s. I will finish by saying I would rather eat the contents of my cat's litter tray than see this movie again. That one is so jarring to me. I almost, multiple times, like, this is another, like, we're bitching about Rian Johnson here. Like, we're in the wrong review category, but then they brought up the $35 million. Like, okay, so they got the budget, basically.
I mean, they were
about what it was.
$2.5 million off, but...
Yeah, but I'm assuming they're talking about Return of the Jedi. So I have questions.
They cannot be. One, who was wearing skimpy shorts and running for their life? And who were the other 4 quote-unquote sexy but average girls?
My question. This is my question for you. Who are the 5 hot chicks, in quotes, that were
Does he mean
average?
the backup singers?
We got Leia. I don't know. That's the best I can do is, like, yeah, the backup singers for Jedi Rocks. Because there's literally... It got me thinking, like, oh, maybe this movie doesn't really pass, like, the Bechdel test.
It's
because,
that
like,
and,
I could only...
It's that and fucking Mon Mothma in her, again, Buddhist robe.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of women in this film. It got me to realize that. And aside from, like, your judgments about their level of attractiveness, Lil Bala, just not a lot. Did I even find 5 women?
There is a woman starfighter. I think she.
Yeah, I guess
she
like
pilots a B-wing.
Again, you just sort of like encapsulated the point. Like, yeah, we're looking for like
rough.
Peripheral starfighters. Yeah. I have no idea, but the fact that you can say the phrase, "If you're looking for a bit of skin, you'll be disappointed." Like, what? The slave Leia.
I was gonna say this is maybe one of the most like looked at pieces of female skin showing clothing in cinema ever.
Yeah, I feel like it's the most iconic showing skin. And you wouldn't be disappointed. You're not disappointed. You're not disappointed to see Carrie Fisher in that outfit. And if you are, I think you need to hang out with Deli because it's cold
and dead inside.
Cold world.
Cold and dead inside.
Yeah, I have no idea who the other.
This is like some.
I'm sorry, actually average, quote unquote, 5 hot chicks. Where
this is like some lady in blue shit, dude. I have no idea what the fuck this guy's talking about.
I don't know. And they're saying the best on offer is a passively attractive girl. I assume they mean Leia, right?
Which is
the best on offer. Like,
which
unless
honestly,
they really like Mon Mothma.
Unless they really like Mon Mothma.
But she's not wearing skimpy shorts. She's like got a lot of flowing robes and shit, right?
I mean, look, I'm not gonna yum anyone's yuck, but like, if you think Carrie Fisher is passably attractive, you're just like Deli. You're cold and dead inside. She's beautiful. That's like saying Harrison Ford is a passably attractive man. No, he's exceptionally handsome. Like, what? Just pure aesthetics.
Yeah, I'm
I hate
very
this. I
confused by
hate this part.
I just okay.
Lil Bala, just you're bad. You're a bad Bala. Bad little Bala.
I just had to know. I had to know if you had any ideas about who the other four.
I can only assume it's the backup singers, but I really think this was a wrong movie post.
I don't know. The budget's close. The thing is, yeah, I was looking. It's like there's not enough in here to really tie it to Star Wars, but there's enough to. I don't know.
That one's a weird one, man.
Yeah. Is that how are we going to end with a weird one? I think. Yeah.
That sounds like us.
The thing about these negative reviews, they're long.
Yeah,
they're very long.
Deli's was a damn near an episode all its own.
And that was nice and bullet pointed. Like, let me tell you what, we have like short tales in some of these, with just long running paragraphs. And I've mentioned before, whenever I fuck up, let's just say always, when I fuck up reading a review, let's just assume there's no punctuation. Yeah, sometimes I'm just bad at reading, but a lot of times, no, man.
Yeah, that's on them, man. That's not on you.
Yeah, there's a lot of thoughts here. So that's Return of the Jedi.
And
some people don't like it, but we sure do.
We fucking love it. Source it hard. Housekeeping. Check us out at Source Not Found Podcast or Source Not Found Pod at You Did It to Me. You made me forget our email address. You did this.
I did it.
Source Not Found Pod.
Do it. Give it into the power of the.
That's actually really good. That's really good.
This? Yeah.
Yeah. Sourcenotfoundpod at gmail.com.
At the end there.
Send us your fucking Craigslist lightsaber posts for Brandon.
Please.
Check us out on all the social medias, Source Not Found Podcast or Source Not Found. We're on the Facebooks, the Instagram, the Blue Sky, YouTube, where you can check out our backlog of episodes, all of those archived episodes, as well as all of the previous Twitch streams of games that Brandon has played for the podcast. And speaking of which, Brando, what are we doing on Twitch right now, my guy?
Twitch.tv/LegionBug. Different things. But one of those things, stop by on May 4th, Japan time at least. May 4th. Star Wars Holiday Special. Not the Holiday Special, but I'm playing a bunch of Star Wars games that followers requested, and we're just going to run through a bunch for portions of time, maybe like half an hour to an hour for each one, play some different fun stuff, so come on by. See what's going on.
I'll be there.
And back to YouTube. Jesse Jelena, St. Coelacanth, did the wonderful theme music you heard first thing in this episode. Continues, I've said it, like I keep saying the same thing every episode, like man, put out so much new music recently. It just keeps coming. Has literally been dropping a track like every day for, I feel like over a month. So check him out.
Very prolific, great. And it's all good. And with that, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining us for this lovely Force Not Found May. And don't forget to check your toilets for that weird-ass added Sarlacc pit. George Lucas, you're a maniac.
It's a crap.
I didn't expect that at all. I didn't expect an Admiral Akbar poop joke.
Bye-bye.